Alrighty, hello and welcome to lesson 2 of Last Epoch University. In lesson 1, we covered the very basics of the game, some of the really basic stuff you need to know about whether or not you want to buy it and just like what class you might want to pick. But now we're going to start to get into some of the more meat and potatoes of the game, some of the mechanics. In this particular lesson, we will talk about skills and passives, which really are one of the very major mechanical systems of the game. It's the primary way that you build out your character and make your whole build work together. So let's go ahead and get into it. We'll start with the skills themselves. So skills should be something that most players are used to. They're just the abilities your character uses. You put them on your hotbar and you use them to do various things. They're in 3 very general and oversimplified types. There's damage, there's support, and there's some hybrids of the two. So, some things do damage to enemies, some things buff you or nerf the enemy in some way, debuff the enemy, and some things do a combination of both. At least skills are so customizable, though, that many skills can become any of these types. So they can be a hybrid, they can be a support, they can be a damage. So looking at a skill and just seeing what its base functionality is doesn't always tell you what it could be. There are, for example, skills that look very much like they're only support that can do significant damage. There are skills that look like they are damage on the face of it that you can turn into full-on support skills. Unlocking skills is something that you have to do throughout your leveling process, and it's done 3 different ways. One is just purely through leveling. Some skills just unlock as you level. Like there's a level 5 skill, then when you hit level 5, it will unlock. Some are connected directly to the passive tree, which we'll cover later. So as you're putting points into your passive tree, some of them require a certain number of points into a particular tree. And as you hit that point, you will then unlock the skill. And then some are locked behind a mastery class itself. So when you select your mastery class, you will get the skill. Unlocking skills makes them usable, but it does not immediately open up the skill tree that each skill has. You will need to specialize to put points into that, and we will cover that soon. Okay, the skill hotbar is, of course, where you use your skills. You can have a total of 5 skills in Last Epoch placed on your hotbar. You place them on by clicking the designated button slot and selecting the skill, so it looks like this. You're in here and you want to change out a skill. Just click on it, left click, pick a skill, and replace it like that. Very easy to do. Keybinds can also be changed for every button slot except for left click. So for you want to change out this from Q to, say, I don't know, 3, you go into your settings, you go into change input keys, and you change the one that's Q to 3, and you're done. Left click cannot be changed, of course, as I mentioned, but well, I should also mention this first. Left click can also not be bound to a skill directly. It is force move technically, but if you want to use a skill on it, you can, and here's how you do that. This gets some players confused. They're like, oh no, I can only move with left click, I can't attack anything. I don't like that. I'm used to RPGs where I can attack. That's okay. You just go in here and you select move or attack, and then you select what skill you want it to be. So let's say I want to move, and then when I click on something, attack with Firebrand. So I select this one over here where it has like a right click little icon, select that. And now as I left click, I also attack if I'm clicking on an enemy. So that functionality is fully in the game, even though it's a little bit different than others. Autocasting is also something you can do in the game through a Windows keyboard function. It is not bannable. Some people have been worried about it in the past. If it was, I would not tell you about it. But it's also not something that many skills even benefit from anymore, and fewer every patch do, because the devs don't like it. They like a more active play style, so they've been changing skills that do benefit from it. I do have a skill on my hotbar, though, that does benefit from it under certain circumstances, depending on the kind of player you are. Enchant weapon can be set to autocast. And the way you do this, I do have a video guide on it. You can Google search, or I'll put it in the comments below, is you, on your input keys, make sure that the skill that you want has a secondary keypad function. So like this one is keypad 3. Keypad's the thing on your right side. You do need a keyboard with a keypad on it for this to work. It does not work without it. Once you've got that set up, you just go in, You go out of that and you press and hold number lock when it is active. And while you're holding number lock, you press the button that corresponds, the keyboard or the keypad button that corresponds. Oops, I held it down too long, my bad. Let's try it again. Press and hold and press the button. It's actually going off now, so we won't be able to see it. Well, you wouldn't be able to see it on my screen anyway, or on my keyboard, but I have now auto-casted it. I should have. Let's make sure it works. Yep, there it goes. So it's now on Autocast. So it's just number lock, hold down, keypad that corresponds to the button. In this case, E is corresponded with 3, so I just number lock 3. And that sets up for Autocast. All right, let's talk about the skill trees themselves. We talked about skills and how you use them, how you select them, and how you unlock them, but they all do a lot more than most skills do in most games. For example, our Flame Reef skill here, or excuse me, my Firebrand skill here has an entire skill tree devoted just to it, and then my Flame Reef skill has an entire skill tree devoted just to it. This is where a lot of the build making happens. Last Epoch, so it's a really important aspect of it. It can be accessed through specializing into the skill. So if you don't specialize in, you don't access this, you can like look at it. Like you can look at it, like I can look at static here. But if I put static on my bar right now, it doesn't have any of this functionality because it's not specialized up here, and that's where I need to do it. When a slot opens up here, you'll see that it has an unlock button. These will be locked when you don't have access to it. And they unlock over the progress of your character's leveling. So as your character gets a higher level, you unlock more and more of these. And then you just click on that and you select the one you want and you put it in. So here's how the nodes actually work on the skill tree. They connect from the center. That's where you start. And you can go out from there. And you need a sufficient number of allocated points to open up adjacent nodes. The dots on it will tell you. So for example, I start at here and then I can go into any of these, anyone I choose. And then from there, I can go into others as long as I have enough points in to correlate to the dots that are on the path. So if I wanted to unlock Brand of Arcanus over here, I would need at least 2 points in Fulmination to do so. Fortunately, I have 3 points in it. So if I had additional skill points to spend, I could then unlock Brand of Arcanus. If I only had 1 in here, then I could not unlock that yet. And Ardent Branding down here actually needs 3, so I would need all 3 in order to unlock that. You can see I can't put anything into Charring over here because I have nothing into Searing Brand. But I could put into Searing Brand right now. You can see the little line here is lit up, so I can put into that. The line is not lit up here, I cannot put into that. So eventually you have 5 total skills that can be specialized, and the skills themselves gain points by gaining XP while they're specialized. So as you've got these specialized, you got them in those little slots on your skills and spec. By the way, to get to this skills and spec, you can press S, or you can click on this down here and click on skills, and that will get you the skills and spec screen. And then once they're in here, they will immediately start gaining XP. They just gain XP as you do other things. You don't actually have to use the skills themselves to gain XP as long as they are slotted into your skills and spec bar up here. They will gain XP just as you are gaining XP for your character, whatever you're doing in the world. You will get a maximum of 20 points in the end, which is much later in the game, but you have a maximum of 20 points you can spend without specific gear. There is gear that can increase that number, that can actually give you skill points. You can go above 20. But without that gear, you are capped at 20. Or what if you want to respec your skills? You messed around with a skill and you went a path that you actually don't like and you want to go some other path. You can do that. You can remove points from a skill, or you can remove a skill altogether. And to do that, you go over here into the respec button. You choose one, either remove points or despec skill. If you despec skill, then you can choose a different skill. And if you remove skill points, then you'll just remove ones within. There is also a minimum specialized level that gives you a bit of freedom to do a respec without starting from scratch. So as you increase your level, this minimum spec level will increase up to a maximum of 10. Whatever that number is means that if you completely remove all your points, you'll have that many points to respend without doing anything. So this skill is at minimum skill level of 10. That's because of the level of my character. I believe it's level 100. So it's a capped character. So all these will be minimum level 10. And so if I completely despec'd out of enchant weapon here or any of these skills, I would have 10 more points, or 10 points back to put back into it without having to re-level. So I'm at 20, I despec and respec, or I just remove all the points, and then I'm at 10. If I'm a level 5 character, I'll have much fewer points, if any, to put back in. Now, if you're removing, as it says, if you're removing a point below the minimum specialized level, then that respecing for that is free. So again, if I was at 10 and I removed a point because I have a minimum specialized level of 10, then I can put that point right back without doing anything. If I'm above it, so I'm at 20, if I removed a point, then I will need to re-level from 19 to 20 because my minimum specialized level is only at 10. The good news is respec points that you need to re-level do so at an accelerated rate. They have accelerated XP, so it's faster to do it the second time than it is the first. All this, though, is to say that respecing at lower levels can be pretty punishing because the XP is lower that you gain at lower levels, and you don't have that minimum specialized level at a very high level to begin with. So be careful when you're leveling your first character through to not do too much respecing, because it will take you a while to get back up there. But at higher levels, if I respec this character right now, it would probably take me a couple of maps to get everything back. Okay, passives are the other point allocation system and tree within the game. We have the skill trees. We also have the passive trees. Each class, including the base and all the masteries, have their own tree. This particular one looks like this, and you can get there by pressing P or by clicking this button down here again and clicking on passives. And these are the trees. There's the mage base. And here's the sork base, or not sork base, the sork mastery class, and this spellblade mastery class. And then rune master is not available right now, so that's why that one's locked. But when it is available, you would have that one as well. You get points for the passive tree just by leveling and also some story quests. 1 point for every level you do, and I believe you can have, I think there's a cap of 15 points you can get from story quests for a total of 115. Now, how you unlock higher nodes in the passive tree? Simply by putting points in the lower up to the point that required. So for example, as a level 1 character, you'll have no points in here, and you'll have these 3 available to you because this goes left to right. So left is the start of the tree and right is the farthest point on the tree. As you put points in, you will need 5 for each tier. You need 5 points in this tier to unlock these 2 nodes, and then another 5 points in any of these down here that you've unlocked will unlock these nodes up here, and then another 5 for these. Notice also these skills are unlocking as you go, so 5 points in mage is unlocking glacier, and 10 is unlocking disintegrate. Also notice that some of these have the connectors just like the skill tree does. And it works the same way. So if I wanted to put points into Arcane Current or Arcane Flames, I would need 1 point in Elementalist, which is denoted by this little connector here. And then I could do that. I've done it already up here. I've got 1 point in Reactive Ward, which allowed me to put 5 points into Warden. If I didn't have anything here, I wouldn't be able to put anything into here. Okay, let's talk about choosing a mastery. So every class gets to choose a mastery. You will reach a point in the main quest where you can do so. And once you do that, you open up the entire tree for that mastery and half for the others. This is a little confusing for new players. They think, oh, I mastered Spellblade, so I can only put into Spellblade. I can't put into Sork, but that's not actually correct. You master Spellblade, you can put into Spellblade the entire tree. But in Sork, you see this chain here means I can't put any farther than that, but I can still access this half here. So I still can put some points into Sork as long as they are below that chain threshold there. To unlock the mastery quest, you will have to reach the end of time. So once you've done that, you'll know you're close. If you haven't reached the end of time yet, keep going. You're not there yet. You also, to unlock the mastery class nodes, will need at least 20 points in the base class. So no point in saving up a bunch of points, try to go into Spellblade or Sork, or to try to respec out of the base class. You need at least 20 in here, and you will always need at least 20 in here to access any of the mastery class nodes. What if you want to respec passives? We talked about respeccing skills. The passive system is a little bit more straightforward. It's quite easy, actually. It costs you gold. As you respec, removed points can be allocated immediately. You don't have to re-level them. but points must be removed one at a time, and points in the lower nodes cannot be removed if they would lock higher nodes that have points allocated to them. So for example, if I wanted to remove points down here, but doing so would drop me below the threshold of stuff I've already got allocated here, then I would need to remove these first. I'd have to remove all the points out of these, and then I could reallocate points down here. You can't drop below your base class 20 points, so if you want to pull points out of here, you're gonna have to put points in first, pull points out. It's a little tedious, but definitely doable. And to do respecs is this icon here, this brain icon. This is the person you talk to. Okay, how it works, you go over talk to this person. There's a couple of them throughout the world. This one is in the end of time, kind of the main hub. We respec mastery point allocation here. I go in here and I'm like, all right, I want to get out of Prodigy, so I just click on it, respec, click on it, respec. I do this 5 times. It's unfortunate that you have to do this 5 times right now. Hopefully they'll change in the future, but right now you just actually have to go through and do it all manually. So then I get out of the respec system, I go back in, I've got 5 points to spend. I've actually got 4 points to spend. So I put those back in. I don't know why I've got 4 points. There must be some bug in there. Anyway, generally the principle holds. You should normally get back your total points. I don't know why there's a bug there. So that's all you have to do there. Let's see. That's all good. That's it. All right, we've covered all the passives, all the skills. That's everything for this particular lesson. If you'd like to join us as we make builds, talk about the game, I stream on Twitch 5 to 6 days a week, more often 6 days, and we have a great time. Would love to have you there. Ask some questions. Come join the community. Same thing with Discord. We have Discord where if you want to ask questions for Discord over Twitch, that's also available to you. I will put Twitch and Discord links in the description below so that you can access them. Thank you so much for watching. Look out for lesson 3 very soon, and I will see you all again real soon.